Members of the jury, have you reached the unanimous verdict, that is one on which all 12 of you agree, on the charge of murder?
We have.
Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
This jury, having found you guilty of the murder of Grace Emmy Rose Millane, you are convicted.
This will be with us for the rest of our lives. Grace was a beautiful, talented, loving daughter. Grace was our sunshine, and she will be missed forever. Finally, we must return home, try and pick up the pieces of our lives, and day to day without our beloved Grace. Thank you.
Are you sure when he applied pressure to Miss Millane's neck, Mr. consciously ran the risk Miss Millane would die as a result of his actions? In other words, knowing there was a real risk of death, he nevertheless carried on applying pressure to Miss Millane's neck. If yes, Mr. is guilty of murder.
To have killed Grace Millane, the defendant, gentleman over here at the back behind me, had to have had her under his grip, suffocating her, if that's the right term, strangling her is probably the correct term, for a total of 5 to 10 minutes, at some point of which she lost consciousness and would have become under his hand hold, unconscious and limp and lifeless, and he had to carry on. And if that's not reckless murder in this country, ladies and gentlemen, somebody will have to explain to me what is.
The defence case is that this is not a murder. And that's still what I say to you now. Nothing has changed. It was an accidental death that took place in the context of sexual activities that, if done incorrectly by inexperienced and or intoxicated people, can go wrong.
That's the two of them meeting, and the next location is going to be the Mexican Cafe, and that's Miss Millane and Mr. City Life Hotel at 9:40 p.m. and getting into the lift there. They head up to the 3rd floor. In the early hours of that morning, before the trip out to the Waitakere Ranges to bury Ms. Millane, Mr. has searched pornographic websites. He's taken photos of Ms. Millane's. He's flipped back to watching more pornography. He's confirmed a date with another woman. He's gone shopping for a suitcase and the necessary cleaning products.
I went to the warehouse at the atrium and brought a suitcase. I went back. I left to go and get cleaning products. And then I went downstairs and I grabbed the porter thing. So I messaged a friend and said I'll meet you at Revelry. The next day, drove the car out to Cumu at first. I picked up a shovel from ITM at Cumu. I went into the bush. I dug a hole. I went and got the suitcase and I covered the hole.
And what did you use to clean the car?
A water blaster thing from car cleaning place.
I would like to take this opportunity to appeal to anybody who has seen, spoken to or come into contact with Grace over the last few days.
Where is her possessions?
I threw them in the rubbish. Albert Park rubbish.
At the time, she was wearing a black dress with some white, possibly Converse shoes. Today we have identified and secured a vehicle of interest. Sadly, the evidence we have gathered to this point of the inquiry has established that this is a homicide.
And you're under arrest for the murder of Grace Millane on or about the 2nd of December.
Okay.
You understand?
Yep.
Do you intend to cause her death?
No.
Are you ready to take us to where she is?
Yeah.
This area was identified late last night as a location of interest as a result of our investigative work. I can now advise that a short time ago we located a body which we believe to be Grace.
Grace Millane went back with the defendant to his apartment. She died there. A couple of days later, the defendant buried her body on Scenic Drive out in the Waitakaris.